What's going on, guys? Liam here from Street Racers, back again with another video. And yes, that's not a Honda in front of me, it is a Ford Escort Mark II. Today we'll be installing a custom loom made by us, fully sheathed and labelled for ease of install. As you can see, it's here next to the car on the table. The ECU we'll be using is of course Fueltech, this time with the FT450. On to the install. Right, as you just saw, guys, we've just installed the loom. Just getting in the car now with Gordon here. We're going to be utilising Fueltech's startup map feature. Gordon, tell us a bit about what you're doing.
So we're going to just generate a startup map for a full new map that's about to be created. So we're going to click on new map. We're on an FT450. We can come back and tick any options that we may or may not want at a later date. I don't think we're going to run much more than 30 psi, so we'll go 35, 4 cylinders. We're not really going to rev anywhere above 8,000. You can pick out, you know, what.
I think that's perfectly fine for this car, 35 psi and 8,000 car this old, so I think that should be alright.
I already know the index for this. I've done a few causes. It's a 36 -1. We're not using a cam sensor on this particular car,
right.
So we'll wasted spark individual coils. Semi-sequential. We're running 2 outputs, injectors, £240 for all 4 injectors. You have to calculate that.
Yeah.
TPS.
So after you've put all this information in, it literally will just create a startup map for this car.
Yeah. We'll go with medium compression. They're a pretty low profile cam. We're not on alcohol, we're on what they call gas. And then that will then show us a wiring diagram, which now we've not wired the air temp to these exact ones, so we can go to inputs.
Yeah.
And then Liam can tell me what input 1 is.
Right, so I do actually have that written down with me. So input 1 is engine coolant.
Yep.
Yep.
Engine temp.
Coolant. Coolant, the first one.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Number 2
is air temperature.
And then 3.
Number 3 is TPS.
Oh, that's correct. Number 4.
Yeah, and that's oil
Pressure.
Sorry, number 3 is oil pressure. Just flip them ones around.
Yeah, you can use any output, any inputs for whichever way around you desire. Oil pressure.
Actually does make it a lot easier, I suppose, to configure.
Yes. And number 4 is TPS, I take it. So we need to enable that one. And TPS. And then 5, 6, 7 we're not currently using at the moment, no. So I'll just put them back to none. Okay, so let's do the outputs. Obviously 1 and 2 are injectors.
Yep.
And number 3
is a generic duty cycle.
For boost control.
Yeah.
Are we using 4?
No.
5 and 6?
No, that's it. Just onto the other outputs now in the ECU, which would be the greys.
Let me turn these ones off. 1 and 2. So it's the startup map has automatically created 4 outputs for coils, so I can change that. We need to go into advanced settings and just change a couple of little bits better to suit myself.
So what's the benefit of what you're doing now?
So the fuel maps and ignition maps, instead of being a flat 2D table, will be 3D tables.
Yeah.
And the ignition outputs was set as to default as such, so now we can do it to custom, so we can decide what's used for what, and it enables us then to go back. Yes, so it has to just convert them. So now if I go back to outputs, I've not done that.
So you see guys, there is always teething issues, but I'm sure we'll get there.
There we go. There we go.
So now you can change these to exactly what you want.
So what was number 3? Grey 3.
Grey 3 was cold start auxiliary.
And number 4
is our fuel pump.
Fuel pump.
Yeah.
That's the fuel pump relay. So that's a pretty much, if we go to the fuel table, it's generated just a generic fuel table for the figures that we've sort of put in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how accurate it's gonna be. Let's just double check that, make sure the crank settings are actually what we want. Yeah, that should be. Okay, so let's save this to the ECU. Now, I noticed on the fuel table that the milliseconds are quite high, low down. So it's just not what I'm expecting down there.
And just to tell the viewers out there, what would high milliseconds cause?
High milliseconds is obviously a lot richer, so it's your injectors pulsing for a greater amount of time. Just for the quick startup, I'm probably just going to chuck, let's see, I think low down here will probably be about 2.2 milliseconds with these injectors. So if we put 2.2 in, just to get us, and then I'll interpolate that up to there, and then I'll do that way just to make it neater. Okay, so we need to calibrate the TPS.
Yeah.
It's already telling us that on the screen.
Yep. And as you can see, the FT450 is on now up here. I think it's actually about time to remove the protective film as well.
Oh yeah.
From the Fueltech if we're going for a startup. I'll just take that off now. There we go. Lovely.
So you can just click. We're going to do it on the laptop, so we're not going to do it on the screen. So we'll click no on that.
Yeah.
Click everything twice, and that will bring us a generic screen it's made, but obviously it's fully customizable.
Yeah.
So calibrate TPS. It needs the ignition on, which would be a good start.
There you go.
Fuel pump's on. Let's write to ECU a second. So calibrate off pedal,
Yeah.
full pedal, and as simple as that, we can save that. And then back to the screen. All of a sudden, we have now got TPS.
Perfect. And that's in fully real time, that is. Pedal percent.
Obviously, we can already see battery voltage, coolant temp and air temp.
Yeah.
We will calibrate those, check the calibration on those once it's running. We can now go to the diagnostic table.
Yeah.
This is on the newest update, so we've now got a compression test built in, which we'll go back to that. I've not used that yet. Obviously it tells you things that are alerts, things not connected and so on. We can go into crank, and then the red box will go green when it's synced and the ECU's happy, which I'm pretty sure
okay, so
we can give it a go.
We'll give that a go right now.
I don't know how we're going to go.
So she'll start up on this auto-generated startup map. Perfect, there you have it guys. She's running, and this was all done on the Fueltech startup map feature. Idling quite nice actually.
I am holding it with my foot at the moment.
Perfect, so next step now would just be to make sure the sensors are calibrated, and then we'll be moving on to the dyno. Oh, as you can see guys, we have got the Escort actually on the ramp. Just after that first startup you just saw, we did hear a noise coming from sort of the sump area. So we've just had the sump off now, and as you can see on the oil pickup, you can see the rod bolt is just fouling it here. So we're just going to sort that out. We didn't build the engine, but as you know, shit can happen. So we're going to sort this out, get it back together and back on the dyno. Right then guys, just saw me actually putting some glue on the tyres now, get them nice and sticky on the rollers, see if we can get some runs in and start the mapping. Full power run guys, still running minimum boost on the actuator. I think we're going to plumb in a 3-port boost solenoid to try and stick a little bit more in it.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost.
So you just see now, we just installed this boost solenoid. Just going to check it's working now. Gives a click. Yeah, so that's all working. Let's get onto the power and see if we can put some more boost in it. logs now. What sort of boost are we running?
0.66.
166. And how much really do you want to go to today?
1.4, maybe 1.5. We'll see how it goes.
Still plenty left.
Yeah.
We are struggling with grip a little bit. The tyres I think are 175, which is a little bit like a biscuit. So I think that may be contributing. So I've stuck a bit more glue on. I'm just going to sit on the back of the car now, the old school way, and see if it'll grip a little bit. Well guys, it gripped a little bit better, but it was still letting go a little bit. As you can see, I made 286 brake, which is a bit more, but I'm pretty sure I've come to the conclusion that the clutch is slipping. So we'll have to wrap it up here for now until we get a new clutch in it, or the owner decides what he wants to do. But the car is running well. So that's all for this video, guys. If you'd like to like, comment and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. Cheers.